Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast that we bring you each and every week on the Dynamo Podcast Network. And as always, this is your Monday mashup show, brought to you on YouTube. So head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. And as always, support Irish podcasting. The lads are back again, joining me on the panel tonight. How we doing, lads?
All right.
All good, Niall.
How's it going, Niall?
So just to get some admin out of the way, as always, the show is sponsored by Ellis Toys and Collectibles on Facebook. So head over there to Facebook, drop a like on that page there, and mention us over there. You get 10% off your purchase. We're also brought by Hogan Elite Trophy Hire on Facebook. Mark is there supporting some of that beautiful Premiership silverware. So if you need some silverware for that special occasion, head over to Facebook there, and Mark will give you the hook up there. Well, lads, how was the weekend?
Good. Being in Liverpool,
Still on it.
We have some happy faces and some sad faces. Where do we start with this? I suppose let's start with the derby. I mean, that's the best place to start, isn't it? We let Graham off. Graham normally starts first, but we'll start with the derby today.
Thanks.
I did a preview there with Darren the other day, and both really could see nothing, only a city win. But I did preface that with the point that every time Solskjaer is at the edge of the cliff, he finds a way to win and come back. And I said that would be the risk up against City at the weekend. Anthony, talk to me.
What's up? Yeah, happy days, Niall, isn't it? Happy days all around. Good match. It was a good match. You know what I mean? Good. City had a bad old day though, didn't they? But tell you what, they had a few chances hitting the crossbar. There was a couple of balls that were swung across the post. If they had went in, it would have been a 5 or 6 goal game. Like, you know what I mean? And you're talking City not having a good game, but they could have snuck it. You know what I mean? But the shoved with the window. In fairness, good solid game from all the lads. You know what I mean? Good to see Luke Shaw continuing that form, which we spoke about a few weeks ago. Still going. So 3 points, bragging rights on the old derby. Can't go wrong.
Seems to be a consistent thing with Solskjaer against Pep, doesn't it, really, bar the League Cup defeat. Mark, what did you think?
Yeah, look, I was trying to be positive before the game because the last few seasons we haven't played so well in the lead up to the derby, and we've gotten a result in the Etihad, so I was kind of clinging on to that, hoping that we would, but we started so well, like we were saying, Shaw had a great game. I thought Dean Henderson done very well as coming in for the Hay. His handling was good. I know he didn't have many shots to save, and I think Zinchenko had one in the first half that was kind of straight at him. But from corners and free kicks and stuff like that, I thought his handling was very good, and his distribution was really good as well. The one thing I'd like to see is Wan-Bissaka being a bit more creative in the final third. We're getting it from the left side. You kind of want to see it from the right side now. Rashford done well, and I only found out on Friday he's been carrying an injury, shoulder injury he's been playing with, so hence the reason his performances have kind of been inconsistent of late,
Yeah, he was very impressive. That run where he made back to take the ball off the City player on the edge of your box there just showed the desire that they wanted for it. Wayne, let's have a chat about the blue side. I mean, me and you had a chat at the weekend there prior to the game, and you did turn around and say that, like, if any team was going to come along and take away the run, United would be that team. What was your thinking?
Absolutely, like as we spoke over the weekend. I was saying to you, I'm not confident it's a derby. Form, like you said, form goes out the window. I watched the preview the other day, and you nailed it on the head. Ollie comes back when it looks like Ollie's about to go, mate. Ollie bounces back. Did I think United played City off the field? No, I don't think City were played off the field. I think United were more clinical. They looked like they were going to score. Every time they attacked, I thought, oh my God, United are going to score. City looked a bit wishy-washy around the box. Too many passes, too much thinking. And like Anthony just said, bragging rights go to the red side of Manchester. Was I let down by City? Yeah, we tried to play our own game and we just didn't finish our chances. And in a derby, you can't do that. United getting the early goal, you saw their spirits lift. I know it was like less than a minute, but straight away you saw them go, oh, there's something in this for us. And that was it. They just stayed on top. They look like the more grown-up team. you know, and that, if that makes sense. They look like they had more experience in that situation or something. I think it looked like it paid off. I felt Kevin De Bruyne was our weakest link. Pep's afraid to, when he's fit and he's playing, he's afraid to take him out of that team. You know, but at the end of the day, I thought Bernardo Silva with a Gundogan pivot maybe would have worked better. Or you could have had Foden on from the beginning with you know, had the mid three, a Gundogan, Foden, and Silva, or Gundogan, Rodri, Silva. And I think it would have been different. You know, De Bruyne gave the ball away, I think, 3 times in the first 5 minutes of the game. You know, and that's not, or miscontrolled a pass or whatever. So, look, can't win at all. Fair play to United.
You would think if you're chasing a game that maybe, and you know, you need a goal, Aguero might be the man to bring on, no?
Well, I feel like that showed me, especially in a derby where he's got a record of scoring. He likes scoring against United. He likes scoring against the big teams. Aguero, he wasn't even looked at. You know, even with 10 minutes to go, you would have thought, put Aguero on. He might get his head on. So there was a header, I think, was it Sterling or Jesus got? But if that was Aguero, that would have went in the net. You know, you know. So I think that this is the us saying goodbye to Aguero slowly but surely.
Yeah,
sadly, unfortunately.
That's what Darren said on the preview as well. He reckons he's checked out and it's Bill Bond time.
Don't think he's got the pace for the current team. Don't think he's got the pace.
The one thing I would say is, I know you don't want to lose to your rivals in Manchester and stuff, but I mean, maybe it's good to get that kind of record off your back so you can refocus again and go on a run again, maybe in Europe and also in the league, you know, because you're carrying the weight of expectation of keeping that going. Now, I know, being a Liverpool fan, I mean, we were trying to keep it going at home and it's become a disaster, but I'm hoping that City don't go on a mad run like the way Liverpool have now in the league, the Ollie or something like that, you know, but I can't see that happening, you know. I hope so as well. But one thing I wanted to highlight from the game yesterday was tactics. Ollie with the high line and the way he positioned the 3 forwards, Rashford, Greenwood, fucking Martial. They closed down. If you watch the game back, look at where they're standing when City are playing the ball out from the back. They had to use Everton. They had to use Ederson as the pivot rather than Diaz because they were getting pushed so far back, and the passing lanes and passing options weren't open to them. You know, and I thought that was so well done. Like there was just nothing that City could do from the back. It was well done by Ollie. Really well done.
It was amazing how the performances between the Palace game and the City game were like chalk and cheese. Like, you know what I mean? It's unreal to look at.
Not being funny, but look at Martial's whole season. Personally, I thought he's been a pain to watch all season. And then he shows up and plays like that yesterday against us. I think,
and he was smiling. Yeah.
Did you see the little flicks and everything happening up the side of the pitch? I was thinking, Jesus Christ. About an hour before the game, he heard PSG are interested in him. That's what
I was so worried when I seen him starting up top. But I was worrying, like, you know, because he hasn't been doing anything. Obviously, he had to Cavani got a knock in training, but he done very well. The one thing I will say, he went down quite easy looking for free kicks a few times and he lost possession. But other than that, he had a brilliant game, you know.
Well, question for you, Mark. Like, what did you was your take on the penalty? Yeah, look, all day long penalty. But I thought it was harsh because if you look, Jesus didn't actually tackle. He didn't actually put a tackle in. He just ran across the back of his legs. But he was in possession in a goal scoring position. So I'd say I would have wanted a pen.
Yeah, listen, it's one of those. It's a coming together. If it was in the middle of the park, it's a free kick. So the referee had to give it as a penalty, and especially with VAR as well, you know.
Yeah.
The one thing about that penalty, I thought that maybe like. I was hoping the game would get an early goal either way, and I thought that might bring the team alive. I thought that might have woke City up, and they would have, like, you know, gone on to win 3 or 4-1 or something like that. You know what I mean? But they just seem to struggle all day. The one good thing coming out of that result for the rest of the league is there's a rumour today that Ollie's supposed to be getting a 3-year contract. So that would be fantastic for everyone else, wouldn't it? So I mean, we'd have to be happy with it. And I'm only messing. Look, we have to give credit where credit's due. I mean, like. Look, we all go in on him, you know, being the PE teacher and all this kind of stuff and all, and Molde and Cardiff and all that. But look, he's doing a good job there, you know, and if he gets more support during the summer as well, he'll kick on again, you know, so we can't really...
And we beat Fulham this year coming from behind. We bet them 2-1, so he's done well.
Big win.
Unreal. Yeah, unreal.
Well, You lost to
Isn't it
Sheffield. You lost to Sheffield United as well. So
I just think it's funny how in the cup tie at Old Trafford, City win 2-0. United don't have a hope. They go to the Etihad and beat us 2-0 and ruin our fucking game of football. If you know, like, ruin the style of play we had.
Like I was saying, Wayne, it's last, I think, 2 out of 3 seasons we've gone in there on a bad run and we got results. Remember, we were 2-0 down at half time. Smalling got 1, Pogba got 2. They always seem to, I don't know, he seems to do well there, Ollie, getting results, as you said, you know.
Yeah. And I think the last season, I think our second derby last season, could even been the season before, United got a 2-0 win again when Ollie was on the cusp. Ollie was looking like he's going to hit the door, like. Came back, got 2-0 win against City again. So,
yeah, see, big clubs don't worry about things like Carabao Cups and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's what they for. That's what they win them for. Right, let's change direction here. Spurs 4, Palace 1. Graham. Must be very excited. Top 4 races on. Gareth Bale is back. Zinedine Zidane must be pulling out the last bit of hair he has on the back of his neck at this stage. Mourinho, full of praise from 100 goals scored. Not too bad for a defensive side. What was your thinking on it?
Yeah, it was great to see some attacking stuff for us for once. You know, great stuff. Lucky with the first goal, and then getting an equaliser out of nowhere. And I was just saying to myself, like we go in 1-1, like what kind of frame of mind does Mourinho have? Should he say, I just attack for like 15 minutes and then, go back to our formation of defence? But fair play to them. That Palace equaliser kind of gave us the good of hope of good of just keep playing attack, and we did that. We should do like the old Spurs, 2-0 up. Go in second half, try and get 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, But that's the way to do it. So good thing ahead, Bale supplying for Kane, vice versa, some like Reguilon having a good game, Doherty have a good game, get supply from them as well. So we just need defence to be rock solid week in and week out.
Yeah, I mean, any defender out there that gives a goal away to Christian Benteke should just retire, really. You know what I mean? But it was a fantastic result, and it's great to see Gareth Bale back in form.
Back some confidence.
Dean, what did you make of Gareth Bale? You must have been fairly impressed with Gareth Bale yesterday against Palace, were you?
He's still a fraud.
You're a fraud.
Still going with that.
Liverpool, that's why.
No, fair play to him. A lot of telling of a good player, isn't it? When your manager criticises you, either go back playing golf and sulk, or you step up and prove him wrong. And he stepped up and proved him wrong. He's been the best player for the last 3 games.
Has he got 4 goals in 2 games, Bale, or is it 4 and 3?
No, he's not got 5 and 3.
He has like 2 in Europe.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's like 8 goals in 4 games. But
it's
like 4 in the league. So
credit where it's due, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You see his movement there with Kane yesterday. I mean, they make it look so simple. Like, I mean, it's all one touch,
play well.
Triangle, and like it's just the finish is made look so simple from him as well. When he cuts in from the left hand side onto the left peg, and he just curls that ball in past the keeper. Like, he does it a lot. He does it so many times, but it just looks so easy and sublime finding that bottom far corner. But good to see Spurs back up there again. I'm happy for Jose as well. I like when that character comes out in him now, where he has a go at the press and all that. I like that. So, let's move on and talk about Liverpool versus Fulham.
I'm all right.
You want to take it?
Dave Malone, go on. We'll start with you.
I don't want to talk about it. Don't think I've ever tried to smash the iPad into the ground as much as I did in life today.
Yeah, it's
where'd you even start?
If I could, back in December, but unfortunately I can't. It's just
like the whole team. There's no heart there at all. There's literally no heart in that team.
I was very surprised at the selection.
I texted you before the game. I was like, what the fuck is that now? Like, I understand that there needs to be a change and all, but you're saying fucking Shaqiri. Like, fucking barrel. Looks like a lad that works in a building site. Not a fucking football player. Genuinely, like.
That's the beauty of the strength of our bench at the moment. You know? They and Fitz come in here and unload on us here. Come on, let me have it. Tell me where we're at. Yesterday you were telling me you weren't going to watch any more football for the rest of the season. You'd had enough.
I'm not. I've lost all my love for football this season. I think Liverpool, the way it is just capitulated. First of all, I just want to say Fulham thoroughly deserved to win, which they did.
Yeah.
Trying to simplify Liverpool is the hardest thing because they look broken. There's no hunger. There's no togetherness. Team mentality is gone. Passion, desire, etc., everything is gone. I do believe it's going to get worse now between now and the end of the season. I read yesterday.
Can I just say one thing there, Dan? Sorry. The one
Don't
thing I want to
start
point
all
out,
this again, cutting across people for the whole bleeding podcast.
It's 2 seconds, you bleeding mouth.
Right, go on.
Mo Salah falling to the ground about 50 times yesterday. That needs to stop. The lad was barely being touched and he was going down.
Everybody does it.
Stop.
Yeah, they do. That is a very new prevalent thing in the league now. A lot of people go down over nothing at all. Go ahead, Dave Fitz. Go on. Give us.
I read yesterday of the 92 teams in the Football League, Liverpool have the worst worst home record of all 92 teams in the Football League. People are talking about injuries, VAR, no fans, etc. It's the same excuses every fucking week. There's 100% more to this than meets the eye. We get the feeling that players want out. I'm going to use Mo Salah as a prime example. And a ripple effect of this has destroyed the team mentality that we once had because nobody's playing on the same level there. Roy Keane said after the game yesterday, and he couldn't have put it better. Because much as I love Klopp, like it's only fair that we criticise him because if it was any other manager, we'd all be calling for him to be sacked. Let's be realistic. If this wasn't Jurgen Klopp and we didn't win the league last year, we'd all be saying he has to go. You know what I mean? But I don't know what else. Like one goal in our last 6 home games, like one fucking goal in our last 6 home games. I know it's everything that we already know, but like you have to magnify these things even more. Like it's getting ridiculous. I do want to point the finger as well at FSG. You look at signings. Look at Bayern Munich, for instance, right? They won the Champions League and the league, and they went out and they the best squad in Europe. That they haven't gone out like Man City and just spent every penny they have on getting the best players in. They've built a team, the challenge on every front. It's easier to win the Bundesliga than it is to win the Champions League, but they still went down and built a squad. At the moment, when I look at their squad, it's better than Man City's squad. It's absolutely frightening. The players that they have like out through injury aren't even missed because the players that they still have in the squad are as good or if not better. But they went down in the summer and got Leroy Sané after winning the Champions League. We went down and got fucking Andy Lonergan, fucking Adrian, Sepp Vandenberg and Harvey Elliott. We got Minamino in the January window after we won the Champions League. How are you supposed to compete with the likes of Man City when you're bringing in fucking free agents, 2 kids, and a fella who's going to take 18 months at least to settle into the Premier League? You know what I mean? I don't want to sound like a broken record, but like just look. I looked at it today. We've done a bit of homework on the transfers in the 4 windows after we won the Champions League and after we won the Premier League, and it's just not good enough. And if Klopp does stay, I don't think he will stay next season. I think he'll take a sabbatical in the summer, and he'll take over the Germany job after the World Cup. But FSG might trust Klopp. I guarantee Klopp doesn't trust FSG. He deserves more than what FSG are giving him. And I don't give a fuck what any other Liverpool fan says. Any Liverpool deserve to be at the top. I'm not saying we like it's a given that we should be at the top of English football, but we deserve to be up there, and we deserve owners that come in, and it's not about fucking profit. I'm not saying. I know I said it a couple of weeks ago about I'd love to have the squad City have, and there was a couple of Liverpool fans who were like, "Oh, well, we wanted to mean something." Are you trying to tell me that if we didn't have it being in these players that are great and they're going to make the team stronger now, we're still not going to appreciate the success? We didn't win a league for 30 years, you know what I mean? But the crazy part about all this is if someone told us 3 years ago we'd be in a Champions League final and lose, and then we'd go and win it the following year, and then we'd win the league the year after it. But the season after that, you were going to have the worst season in fucking God knows how long. We'd all said, yeah, that's no problem. But being in that situation now, it's just fucking horrible. Like, I never thought letting Lovren go and not getting a replacement would come across as such a criminal thing now. It's just so many things. When I was looking at, like doing the homework for today, so many fucking things. What's going on with the Genie Wijnaldum situation? You know what I mean? Like, no, we're not getting any answers. Nothing seems to be getting resolved. Like, it just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. And to be realistic, like, we're not going to get top 4. The players that we dream of signing definitely aren't going to come. Like, the Ben Davies thing, I was a bit optimistic when we signed him. Now I'm convinced that we either bought his fucking top trump card or a cardboard cutout, because we've no idea what the fuck's going on there.
He's injured.
Then he finally decides to play 2 centre-backs at centre-back yesterday. What does he do? Drops Fabinho. So there's no one there to protect him. So you had Keita there, you had Wijnaldum there, whatever, but nobody protects a back 4 like Fabinho does. I really don't fucking know. I know I said a lot there, but it's still lost for words on how this gets resolved.
Well, FSG came out today and they said they're fully supporting Jurgen Klopp, and they also said that regardless of qualifying for the Champions League next season, will not impact on the amount of money that's available to spend. So it looks like they're going to back him and support him in the summer. So look, I mean, we have to stick with it as best we can. We can't just be there for the good times. We have to be there for the bad times as well. You know.
Oh, yeah, that's just.
And goodness knows we've had enough of it. You know.
Just one thing to say there, like the good thing about this is like, this separates the real fans from the hangers-on. There's a lot of glory hunters that probably came out of the woodwork, like Man City fans when they got a few bob. But when we won the Champions League and the Premier League, a lot of Liverpool fans came out of the woodwork. And now that all this is happening, they've kind of gone back hiding into the bushes like Homer Simpson. So, look, the sooner the better this season is over, and then we can look towards next season. So,
well, so look, you have to look at it this way. Sure, look, when we win the Champions League and then we sign Haaland and Mbappe, everything will be all right. We won't be complaining about that. We all do it, you know what I mean? So,
Niall,
there, you know.
You don't need to finish top 4 when you win the Champions League. So.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Well, lads, I know we slagging and all about yesterday, but on yesterday, you have to say what a job Scott Parker's done with Fulham.
Yeah.
You know, last month he took 7 points from the possible 9. He's gone on. He's at Palace. Great to see him. A young English coach doing so well. You know.
Fulham have good players, though. That Adam Ola-Lookman, Josh Meyer, they're not bad players, mate. They're decent ballers, you know. Like, they're not bad. I think Fulham
have done well to stick with Scott Parker as well, rather than chopping and changing every time. Sticking with him is starting to prove it now. You know what I mean?
It's the hunger. Like they're down the bottom of the league and they're fighting for their lives. But like that's when they are up the top of the league and down the bottom of the league, you have to have that hunger, and that's what's I was blown away by. Like the first thing I said before I got into my little rant there was thoroughly deserved by Fulham. They went out yesterday like they were a team like. In the top 10, looking to get top 4, you know what I mean? They had that hunger all over the pitch. They knew that we were vulnerable, and they went for the juggler. And it could have been more than 1-0.
Yeah. Question for Liverpool fans, right? What do you make of Steven Gerrard winning the league? Do you think you're going to be seeing him back in Liverpool before not too long?
Can I answer that first there? That's, to me, if Klopp was to go on the summer and Gerrard was to get that job, that's a complete Frank Lampard situation. It's way too soon. 7 years time. If Gerrard's to get the job in the summer, he'd be gone before January. It's way too soon. It's the romance and the emotion of it being the ex-Liverpool captain who never won the league. It's way too soon. Fair play to him. As much as we all hate Rangers, fair play to him. I'm glad he went up there and he mixed it about a bit, because there's the likes of Scott Brown and Neil Lennon, players like that, you know, players and managers like that. Has Scott Brown ever been linked with a move to England? No, because he's fucking shy. He plays up in Scotland. He's a big bully. If you look at videos of him on YouTube, he's a big bully. He goes around with his chest out and the jersey tucked in like he's some sort of marshal and all. he'd be found out in any other league than Scottish football. He'd be probably found out in the League of Ireland because the fella's an absolute fucking pony. Fair play to stay. I can't say it. Like, I've 2 uncles who are season ticket holders with Germany or Celtic, but fair play to Gerrard. He went up there. They haven't lost a game all season. They've 88 points, is it? Out 96.
Yeah.
Regardless of what league they're playing in.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gone up there and he's done an outstanding job, but I think it'd be a bit too soon, I think, for him to come into Liverpool, to be honest.
Way too soon.
I mean? And again, we don't want him coming in and, you know, like
he's not think.
Yeah, no.
Go ahead.
I just think it would be too soon, and I wouldn't like it to evolve the way it evolved with Lampard. You know, where he sort of tarnishes his legacy there a little bit. Not as much.
Yeah.
I mean, Lampard didn't do a huge amount of tarnishing. Like, he left. I think he got out at the right time, but still, you know, I'd rather he did that job at Rangers there maybe for another couple of years. See how it goes next season and see if Celtic bounce back. Because the second season under retaining is always the measure.
Yeah.
I mean, look at us in the Premiership at the moment. So what I would say, maybe I'd like him to go maybe to, after Rangers, maybe go to a European club and get a little bit more experience and then maybe come in. But yeah, like, outstanding job. I mean, undefeated all season. And, you know, breaking out. Yeah, go ahead.
My only query with that is, look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, not particularly great at Molde, not particularly great at Cardiff. He's come into United, same thing, you know, ex-United player. They gave him the time Lampard didn't get at Chelsea. The difference being, out of all those 3 managers, Lampard, Ole, and Gerrard's the trophy winner out of the 3 of them, you know? Gerrard's the one who's actually gone out and won a league. And now he's saying...
Scottish League's one of the easiest leagues to win, though.
Say that to Neil Lennon.
Yeah, but I mean, it's you couldn't. I mean, that's, you know, you could talk in the same respects about Lampard at Derby. The job he did at Derby was outstanding as well. Now, I know he didn't win the championship, but still, like, I mean, you can't judge it based on that. You know what I mean? You have to get that experience in there. You know, like stepping into that Liverpool job, and especially if it was to happen in the summer at a time where Liverpool does need a shaking up and a rebuild and stuff like that, could be too much for him. You know, like, it's one thing managing Ryan Kent and lads like that. It's another thing going into, you know, Mo Salah and Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe. You know, be a very different situation. You know,
okay, just on the Celtic and Rangers, Niall, there. The worst thing that ever happened to that league was Brendan Rodgers, an actual football and brain, like a tactically aware good football manager, went into the Scottish League and set a precedent that was so high that Neil Lennon came in after him and ruined what Rodgers built in 3 years within 6 months.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lennon thought he was untouchable up in Scotland until Gerrard came along with that hunger and desire and passion that he'd seen Jurgen Klopp use while he was in the Liverpool academy. He went up there because let's be realistic. Look at the Rangers team. There's no world beaters there. There's no players there like that have probably Morales, but he's not going to sign for someone in England. He's going to sign for someone in Europe for sell-on value. But Neil Lennon went back up there after Rodgers built up that football philosophy and that style of play and ruined it within 6 months. And believe me, if the fans were in the ground, he'd have gone a lot sooner than he went.
Yeah, so I completely agree with you there. I think another thing that's impressive with what Gerrard's done is his man management on Morelos. He's gone from getting a red card bloody every 3 games to a player got injured the other day and he's making an attack, stop the play, pick the ball up. No, your man's injured, mate. Like, he's obviously turned his attitude or outlook completely around. Gerrard did, you know.
When you're 3-0 up at St. Mirren, it's easy to pick up the ball and say, hang on, is he all right? You're about to win the league.
You have to give Gerrard credit as well on that situation because Morales wanted to leave and he didn't get to move away. We've seen our players in the Premier League, they want to move away and they never get it. And they sulk. They don't want that to deal with it.
Yeah.
He's seen the way the season started for them and he's jumped on the bandwagon and he's gone all out for it. And like every player in that Rangers team, whether they've started games or they come on as subs, they all deserve credit for what they've achieved this year, regardless of how bad the league is. That points tally is absolutely frightening. And it's even sweeter that they get a guard of honour off Celtic now next week.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to have a quick look at the European fixtures coming up now. Wednesday, Liverpool are playing Leipzig. They're 2-0 up from the first leg. This is a real dodgy game for me. I think if Leipzig got an early goal, I think
Thank God it's not in Anfield.
we could be in trouble there. James Pearce actually tweeted that the other day. Is there any chance we could go to Budapest to play Fulham? But no such luck. But I think PSG will go through. I'll be surprised if Barca can go back unless they get a couple of early goals. So hopefully Liverpool go through there, but it could be very dodgy if they were to give away an early goal. I suppose the big one then in the Europa League on Thursday is United and Milan. That's really the fixture of the round, really.
Sounds like a Champions League fixture,
doesn't it? Yeah,
it does. Except Wayne, it isn't. So, but yeah, it's still a big fixture, and I don't know. I haven't heard. Is Zlatan going to be back for that, or has anyone heard anything?
I haven't heard yet. I don't know. Don't think so.
I think he's meant to be missing the first leg and possibly back for the second leg.
So he's back for the one that they win and go through, yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
another big opportunity for Dean Henderson to show his worth again. Will De Gea is out. So
well, it'll be interesting to see if the United show up for the Milan game that showed up for the City game, and with the same desire and heart and all that sort of energy. Arsenal are away to Olympiacos again. That to me is a very dodgy fixture for Arsenal at the moment.
Is your man Diogo Dalot, is he on loan at AC Milan, or is he?
He's on loan, yeah.
So he's a loss for them as well. You know what I mean? He's the first choice left back.
Yeah. But they are in a rich vein of form at the moment. I mean, they're second in Serie A at the moment. I think they're only 3 points off Inter or something.
I think Inter have a game in hand as well. So
yeah, they're playing tonight against Atalanta. And then we've got Spurs versus Zagreb. I think Spurs in the form they're in at the moment really should be looking to try and kill off that toy really in the first game. You know what I mean? If they can show up again, and if Bale is still on fire, he's been really good in Europe this year for Spurs. So hopefully it'd be good to see all, whatever it is, 4 or 5 Premiership teams go through to the next round anyway, because it's always exciting then for the draw. So let's get on to then some of the hot topics that I posted earlier. The first one I wanted to take a look at. Woodward came out this week and said that he can see progress under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think most of us can see it anyway. But United's debt has climbed to over €500 million, 509 million, which must be worrying in terms of fans. And I know fans don't really care about the money side of it so long as signings come in and success comes. But it must be very hard to go out into the market when you're trying to service that debt. In terms of, the COVID situation where you're losing 4 to 5 million in match day revenue every week or twice a week in some cases. And you're still trying to service that debt, and the revenue is being slashed. You're only getting broadcasting revenue, really. Mark, what you thinking on that?
Yeah, I think all clubs are going to be coming out with losses with the situation that we're in. The only thing is we didn't really heavily invest in the summer. We brought Amad Diallo in. So we've kind of been shrewd a little bit. Our last big purchase was obviously Bruno last January. But I was looking at some of the figures, like for the last 3 months of last year, our match day revenue was 1.5 million, where in 2009 it was 32.7 million. Like that's a drop of 95.5% or something like that. That's unreal. Like obviously the broadcasting revenue has gone up because every match has been showed, but your match day revenue is down. Ticket sales, merchandise, everything. But that's not just us. That's going to be every club around the world, from Premier League to League Two and not everywhere around. But like you're looking at it, I think we got a 60 million loan or something like that at the start of January. But I just think Woodward has been shrewd enough that we haven't spent big, so I think that would go for us,
Yeah, although Anthony, I'd put it to you, you probably have to spend big in the summer, don't you, to freshen things up? And I mean, you would look like you need a centre back at least, and a centre defensive mid.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Yeah, I think it's going to happen that we do spend big, which obviously doesn't bode well for the debt itself. But I was only thinking earlier, Niall, right? I'm into my 30s now, right? And since I've been old enough to understand a little bit about the background of football, not a great lot, but I've only ever known Man United to be in a huge debt. You know what I mean? It's like the players we bring in. Well, obviously you have to bring in these players if you want to win the leagues, Champions Leagues, the domestic cups. The wages they want all go against the debt. You know what I mean? But it was confused me as big as a club Man United are worldwide, globally, with short sales, all that stuff, merchandise. How are they still in such big debt? It was confusing me, you know what I mean? But we do have to buy in. We do have to buy in players if we want to challenge properly next season, you know what I mean? Which it obviously doesn't help the debt, but hopefully there'll be fans back in the stadium and then the ball will start rolling again, you know?
Yeah, well, it's probably for the last 8 years, no one's been buying the jersey, probably. You know what I mean? So it's probably something that
I've actually watched the thing about how why United are where they are debt-wise. And it's the Glazers scrape a lot of profits out of the club, and they have a manageable debt. So United are able to take on more debt because of their revenues are so great. So they're actually able to service and manage the debt. And this year is the first year they've not, because like you said, ticket sales, merchandise. So it's been the first big knock they've had. But their debt is very manageable. Like even in the debt they are, United could still go out and spend 200 million on a player and still be able to manage the cost of that. But now this is where it's starting to, the Glazers scraping off the top, taking the money out of the club, is now where it's starting to affect them. Are they going to put the money back in? What do you think?
I worried that with the whole Tampa Bay thing, you know what I mean? I wonder if, because they've had such bad form in the league, have they put more stuff? This isn't the NFL show, I know that. But because they own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, have they focused more on that with Tom Brady than they have with Man United?
Yeah.
For the league, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
FSG are doing the exact same thing at the Red Sox. They're letting their best player go, you know what I mean? It's
you can always hit them up at the summer and say, will Tom Brady play at the Backface? You know what I mean? might be a bad option, you know.
I'd take that indeed. But with the news coming out now as well, I just read about half an hour ago, Cavani wants to go to Boca Juniors, so we're going to need to get a striker in as well.
Oh, lovely.
You definitely miss his 6 goals so far this season or whatever it is, absolutely.
Going in deep.
It's what he does off the ball as well, Niall. It's not all about goals.
So let's have a quick chat about internationals at the moment. A lot of clubs are coming out at the moment now and they're talking about they're banning their players from going on internationals, which I think it's probably a shrewd move by the clubs. I think they are right, and I think the international scene really needs to look at itself at the moment, especially with some of the locations that these players are expected to be going. These are proper COVID red spots, as they call it, and there will be a concern there of either bringing it back to the club with an outbreak, or there'd be a concern of having to do the quarantine thing and stuff like that. So, is it really acceptable if you're paying a player's wages that if he's to go off and play internationally, that he comes back and he has to serve a 14 or a 10-day quarantine? I don't think that's acceptable at all, especially at the moment with the financial constraints that clubs are under and stuff like that. So, Dean, what was your thinking on that?
100% agree with them. I thought, well, I know the Euros are on this summer and what have you, but I thought that international fixtures could have been put off for the year regarding travel and stuff like that, and going into countries that is not every country is as bad as the other with COVID and all, but like UEFA and FIFA need to be realistic and saying clubs are paying the wages for these guys. It's all well and good when you have the bigger clubs like Liverpool that they can send a private jet to collect the 3 boys and bring them back and they're well catered for and what have you, but not every club has the luxury of that. Not every player has the luxury of that, and like it's gas. Jurgen Klopp couldn't go home for the funeral of his mother. Alisson Becker couldn't go home for his father's funeral. But yeah, players are allowed to travel across the globe to play a football match. I'll leave it at that. You know what I mean?
Disgusting, if you ask me, mate.
Yeah.
It is disgusting.
Yeah,
disgusting.
I think the weird thing about it, especially in terms of Liverpool, and I know you'd be slightly affected as well, Wayne, but like those players travelling back to Brazil, which is an absolute red spot for COVID at the moment. It's absolutely rampant with thousands of people dying every day. And also they have a president or a prime minister there at the moment who's still beating his hat saying it's not real and don't wear a mask and all this kind of thing. You know what I mean? Is this the same
fella who gave the go ahead for the Amazon rainforest to be set on fire? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. He's fucking brain dead.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
allegedly. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting time for international teams. I mean, I suppose maybe, you know, the different federations should maybe create a zone or something like that. That's where all the matches are played or something like that, and create like an international bubble or something. So players.
Could you not restrict selection to players who play in their own country? So you'd have to pick an Irish team Obviously,
That's
teams
what-
like England, Germany, Spain would be a massive benefit to that. But I mean, pick teams that are playing in your own league. Pick young fellas. There's loads of ways around this. You know, there's loads of new things to try, but nobody wants to do it. You know, who's going to watch 2 under-23 internationals play again? Who's going to watch that?
Yeah,
But
well,
why are they allowed-
that's the problem at the moment because there's such a focus at the moment on trying to generate the revenue from the broadcasting rights. If you come out and you make a decision like that, you're going to devalue the viewership, so you're going to bring down the broadcasting revenue, and hence they're going to suffer even more. You know, so that's. But again, that as opposed to endangering people's lives, you know what I mean? That's the kind of balance that you have to find. You know.
Yeah.
But they're doing it with the Champions League, you know what I mean? Champions League games are being played neutral ground. So why can't you? It makes no fucking sense. You know what I mean? You UEFA knew if they cancelled the Champions League this year, the revenue in football would have been like. Can you imagine the death of Liverpool, United? Can you imagine how bad the death would be without Champions League football this year? So why is it? Doesn't make sense. Why is UEFA giving the go ahead that games we played in neutral grounds? When you look at the top international sides, their best players are playing in Europe. So why can't these games be played in Europe?
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah.
So let's move on a quick one. Anthony, I don't know whether you looked at this during the week. Inter Milan, all sorts of stuff coming out on Inter Milan at the moment. There's talk of players' wages haven't been paid since August, September. They're talking about the owners have sold off a Chinese club that they owned that's part of the group. You know, the shirt sponsor of Pirelli, who's been there, I think, 25 years or something like that, is pulling out this year, which is massive. And they just started defaulting on payments. I think to United, they owed United, I think 4.8 million there the other day to be paid, that they defaulted on the payment. And apparently in the contract with United, they're saying if they do default on the payments, they actually have to give United a player. And I don't know how that works out. Do United get to pick the player, or is it some sort of an agreement, or what way does it work? But it's a real weird. I mean, you think about the dedication. I mean, they've never played as well as a club. The players are playing fantastic, and they don't seem to be getting paid. So it just goes to show that in some circumstances that, like, you know, money isn't always the motivation.
No, 100%.
Because, I mean, Lukaku is unbelievable at the moment. Sanchez has seen him at the weekend with Lukaku. Unbelievable.
Do you think United will get Sanchez back?
No, I think they'll generate a lot of some sort of money from winning the league, won't they? If should they go on and win the league, you know what I mean? Which might ease up a little bit. I didn't look too much into it because I didn't hear enough about it, to be honest with you. But I had a little look today, and they're apparently struggling to pay some fella. What's his name? Hakimi. I think they have to pay eight point something million for him to keep him there as well. And I was thinking, my God, for Inter Milan to be a club, again, like I'm saying about United, to be in financial trouble, for the club that big to have money problems is crazy. To not even be able to pay 8 million to keep this guy that's obviously playing well in the team, that's top of the league.
Yeah.
Have they not got a new stadium coming?
They do,
yeah.
Both
of them, both teams.
Yeah, it's ground share.
Yeah, I also noticed today, Wayne, as well, that the talk was that City might not be going for Haaland, but that they're interested in Lukaku, which would be an interesting move. You wouldn't
if we go on history, Tevez was
Martinez.
Say that again?
I think they look for you, man. What's his Lautaro? Yeah. I can't see Lukaku wanting to go back there after the way he left.
Yeah. Like, if you go on history, last striker we signed from United did us all right, and Carlos Tevez. So, I mean, would Lukaku, but I as a City fan, does he fit our style, that big, strong forward, holding up the ball and all that? Don't necessarily think so.
Did bring success to you, though, years ago, didn't it? In fairness, playing that big centre forward off with a smaller striker, But
just on Inter Milan, like Pirelli are after pulling out a sponsorship there as well, I mean? So it's not getting any. I'd say if they don't win the league, they're in massive, massive trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
They haven't won a trophy since 2011, and like this year we should be talking about what's happening on the pitch, but it's just sound ridiculous. They missed the 4.2 million, like you said. So by the end of the month, they have to pay 42.8 million to us or give us a player. It's crazy stuff. Like,
it's certainly going to be interesting, and we're doing a show this week. Actually, recording a show tomorrow called "The Rise of the Milans," and we're going to be looking into all this stuff with Craig and with Dean too, Italian football fans. So I suppose the last thing to look at really is Euro 2020. Seems to be shrouded in uncertainty at the moment. They've given the stadiums. They're 100 days out. They've given the stadiums. I think a couple of weeks to confirm whether they're going to have fans in there and what capacity they can have in there. And they're looking for a move potentially to a single country as well to create that bubble. And they're looking at potentially the UK. We're going to be the front runners in terms of, because of their deployment of the vaccine, seems to be ahead of most other countries. But yeah, it seems to be this Euro 2020 seems to be getting crowbarred into the calendar, and there doesn't seem to be any great planning to it. It seems to be sort of hit and miss with ideas and stuff like that. To be 100 days out and to be still up in the air. Wayne, what was your thinking on that?
Don't know. It seems to be all over the show. It's hard to really say, isn't it? Like what's going to happen going forward, but I don't know.
Again,
I mean,
it's international football again, isn't it? Like it's just
it's hard. It's hard. I mean, the commitment was if I'm thinking rightly, the manager I heard that was quite vocal about this in the league was Hasselhuntel, Ralph Hasselhuntel, and he was quite vocal. He out straight said, "No, I'm not letting my players go out or whatever." So again, like you said, international football again. Just
it's an inconvenience, isn't it? Remember, you used to go represent your country. It used to be a thing of pride, but now it's just an inconvenience for managers to send their players off.
It's like clubs are hoping that it's cancelled because when you think about it, right, they're going to go straight into the Euros after this summer. Then you have the Olympics, into the Premier League, the World Cup in the winter. Like players are going to be fucking burnt out. You'll see lads fucking going around looking like they're fucking malnutrition and all the way things are going.
But like if
Liverpool will have to play 4 midfielders at the back.
But just using Rashford as an example, right? Yesterday Rashford was brilliant, but he looks exhausted. The man looks like he just needs to stop. Have a fucking 5-minute break, man. He's playing every game, and you just think, give the lad a break, man. And imagine he has to go out and play for England then as well. You'd be thinking, fucking this poor cunt. Sorry for swearing, but this poor lad doesn't get a bloody break. Doesn't get a break.
He has to go for surgery. Remember, Anthony, you probably read about he's been carrying a shoulder injury since I think the start of December or something like that. So he has to go for a surgery now as well.
If he gets the surgery, he's a doubt for the Euros as well. Anyway,
any City fan will hate me saying this because watching this, they'll hate me for it. But I think Rashford's brilliant. I think he's not at the moment. He's at a cusp of if he's not managed correctly, he could go the wrong way. I think he proves it's just getting him to that consistent level. Once he's there, mate, there's no stopping that kid. And I think at the minute he's getting run into the ground. Kind of like Sterling. Do you remember Sterling at Liverpool? Brendan Rodgers had him playing so much, the kid turned around and said, "No, I'm having a break. Like, I'm taking a week or two off." And he had to. Luckily, it worked out well. And I think Rashford could go the same way if he's not managed correctly and cleverly. He could end up having an injury-prone career. He could, or something like that. Because I think
Bruno was the same as well. When you look at Bruno after the Crystal Palace game, he looked absolutely shattered.
I believe there's a heard a rumour today that Fernandes has to have surgery on his lower back in the summer. Because he's carrying the fucking team all year.
Is it not from bending over to place the ball on the penalty spot all the time, no?
That's getting old now, that penalty thing.
Well,
Scholes was right. He doesn't turn up big.
Is he going to get in there though?
He turned up on Sunday.
Is he going to get in there before Liverpool do? From carrying everyone else on top of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4 this year.
We're carrying about 8 teams on top of us.
And we could add, and the way things are going, we could add another 2.
That's great to see, isn't it?
But would it surprise you, lads? Obviously, at the run of form at the minute, yeah. But I mean, if Liverpool come out and win 5-0 next week, or 4-0, or 3-0, whatever, they still have the quality's not gone from the team. The quality is there. Just utilising it again. It's just getting it back to firing on all cylinders,
If you were a Liverpool fan, you'd be realistic.
That's what I said to Niall at the weekend. He said, "You've no confidence. Look at their run." So I'm a City fan, man. We're all pessimists, mate. We've had too long of, no trophies and no silverware. We're too used to that.
That's what happened, Wayne. You put the mockers on your team there when we were chatting about it. You should have come out and said, "Yeah, we're going to smash them 5." Should have pumped them up, But yeah, lads, as always, brilliant having you on again for the Monday mashup. Just a little bit of admin there. Obviously, head over to YouTube, subscribe to the Dynamo Podcast Network, hit that subscribe and bell notification button. As always, support Irish Podcast and our sponsors for the show again. Ella's Toys and Collectibles on Facebook. Head over there, hit a like on the page, hit up Dan. He'll look after you with a discount on any orders you place there. Let them know you're a viewer or a subscriber of the podcast. Also, Hogan Elite Trophy Hire there still has the red ribbons on it, thank God.
Just about.
But Mark will hook you up there if you have any silverware needs for that special occasion coming up or in the future. Hit Mark up there, and it's always brilliant to see the reaction of people when the trophies are at these events. Go ahead, Dean.
Just Mark, just regarding the trophies there, I believe Liverpool will be in touch with you halfway through next season while they're trying to organise the parade.
There you go.
And hopefully not in the Europa League or anything like that with a bit of luck.
West Ham are 1-0 up and Leeds have had 2 goals ruled out by VAR.
Good.
Lingard missed a penalty.
Oh, no way. Didn't see that.
Right, lads. Thanks a million for coming on again. And until next time.
Cheers again, lads.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, boys.
Hello.